It is said that the Nigerian government has come out to defend themselves in all the whole allegation attached to the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and here is their defense. And who did they send, for their defense? I want you to guess that. But before that, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Ibo Munze Mozo, Sikwa Konyechiri, Siyazelo. I want you to sit tight and watch this video to the end. Mark share button. And if this is your first time coming across our channel, we can hit your mark subscribe button. Let's continue. You see, a lot of things have happened in the previous week about the US lobbying firm that the Nigeria hired to lobby the US Congress to change the narration about the genocide has been going on in the country, and which most of them has come out to say, no, this is not what is happening. Now, Nigeria has been placed on ban because of that particular selfish act, because they have the intent that the Biafras are paying the lobby firm 65,000 every month. They have to pay 9 million in total of the year. And here comes this twist that they also have a private man that is also paying, 135, to the lobby firm. But who knows which region he's from, whether the Igbo, Hausa, or Yoruba. But that's not the board of contention. So I want you to sit tight to listen to what the special advisor to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said and what has been going on in the country. I'm speaking to the US Congress, and I want you to see that because this video is very, very important. I think they watch this video to the end, given the kind of atrocity that these people have been carrying on in this country. So don't forget to share this video to your friends and loved ones and all the whole platform that you find yourself. And if this is your first time coming across this video, please do us a favor by clicking on your subscribe button.
Thank you much for joining us here on RT today. It's great to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm just going to cut to the chase with you very quickly here. When it comes to suddenly finding yourself on the crosshairs of the Trump administration, you may be Ukraine, you may be Venezuela, you may be Gaza, you may be Syria. Oh, guess what? Now you may be Nigeria. The US president threatening to deploy American troops to your country. What is your nation's response, please, Daniel?
We try our best to downplay the rhetoric because we know for sure that can't be the reflection of the realities on ground. The decision of President Trump is anchored on the various tweets and pushes by congressmen, and the congressmen rely on a data and report that were submitted by a separatist group in Nigeria called the IPOB. That there's a genocide of Christians in Nigeria, which is false because all intelligence and non-governmental organizations that carry out their research and data about killings in Nigeria, none but these two that have affiliation with IPOB that indicated that there is a Christian genocide. In fact, even the content of the data contradict that. For example, the Inter-Society Civil Liberties and Human Rights that produced that report tried to allege that the generally killings of IPOB separatist group in the southeastern Nigeria were conducted by the Nigerian forces, and that the killing of even the citizens of the southeast were conducted by the Nigerian forces under the pretext that because the people in the southeast have Jewish history and tradition. And it is very unfortunate. The second report, which is by Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa, in their own report, they admitted that there have been more killings of people who have not identified as Christians or Muslims, then followed by the killings of Christians, and thirdly, by the killings of the Muslims. But they concluded that these killings were conducted by Fulani militia, meaning that they kill Christians, they kill Muslims, and they kill non-Christians and non-Muslims. Yeah. How can you write a report like that and also conclude that there is a genocide of one of them? With IPOB that indicated that there is a Christian genocide. In fact, even the content of the data contradict that. For example, the Inter-Society Civil Liberties and Human Rights that produced that report tried to allege that the generally killings of IPOB separatist group in the southeastern Nigeria were conducted by the Nigerian forces, and that the killing of even the citizens of the southeast were conducted by the Nigerian forces under the pretext that because the people in the southeast have Jewish history and tradition. And it is very unfortunate. The second report, which is by Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa, in their own report, they admitted that there have been more killings of people who have not identified as Christians or Muslims, then followed by the killings of Christians, and thirdly, by the killings of the Muslims. But they concluded that these killings were conducted by Fulani militia, meaning that they kill Christians, they kill Muslims, and they kill non-Christians and non-Muslims.
Yeah.
How can you write a report like that and also conclude that there is a genocide of one of them?
Yeah, I mean, I was just reading your interview with the BBC recently, and they were saying that there are various groups that are monitoring the violence. They say there's no evidence to suggest the Christians are being killed more than the Muslims in Nigeria, as you are saying, it's roughly evenly divided, I guess, between followers of both religions. In fact, you know what? Going back to this interview with the BBC, by the way, you were in this interview. They said that claims of a genocide against Nigeria's Christians have been circulating in recent weeks and months in some right-wing American circles. How would you break down those last words I just said?
I quite agree, and let me tell you further. In fact, there is this investigative report that was conducted 2 weeks ago in Nigeria that suggested that hoax, that narrative, was amplified by the separatist group called the IPOB since 2016, that there is a Christian genocide and that the genocide is against them because they have a Jewish tradition. But the amplification now affected the people of the right wing of the Republican Party in the United States, which was pushed by Senator Ted Cruz and followed by Riley Moore. These are senators who have lost the favor with the MAGA base because they were considered and are still considered as people that have pandered so much to the APAC and the APAC back agenda. So they are trying to reinvent themselves. That is why they now found a good distraction in Nigeria. That's what the reports and is saying. But we as a country, we try to be responsible enough to focus on the solution and not the problem. And our point is this: there have been killings in Nigeria because of the exceptional situation that we find ourselves. Our government has made massive progress in the fight against insecurity, and we're calling on Donald Trump to assist us with military apparatus that is requisite for us to fight insecurity. We do not need the boots of the American soldiers in our soil. There has to be a respect of our territorial integrity.
Yeah, strong comment there, Daniel. I appreciate that. As you are live now on network television, I hope your message is getting across to all the right people. Daniel, I wanted to ask you, break down this commentary for me, if you would. The head of state of Sudan, the commander-in-chief of the Sudanese Armed Forces, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, has said, and let me just say this to you, the head of Sudan has said the CIA and Mossad are behind the killings in Nigeria. Abdel al-Burhan says the U.S. military is going to invade Nigeria to kill ISIS terrorists that the CIA funds. He goes on to say, use a terror group like ISIS or Boko Haram that you created to cause chaos, then come in and solve the chaos. Can you help me get my head around those comments?
Then that means if the story or the report is correct, then it fits into the narrative of creating a problem, provide solution, and reinvent yourself. Yeah. You see, as a government, we don't want to heat up the polity, but if you recall, there was a congressional hearing in the United States where the U.S. Congressman, I think Scott Perry, who was holding, I think, a hearing with the CIA in which he mentioned that the CIA funded Boko Haram, ISIS, and Sarudi, all kinds of insecurity in Nigeria and its environment. And this is not the American lawmakers. It is a U.S. congressman under oath was questioning the CIA director. And he was saying that all of the funding for that was passed through the USAID. Now, but that's their domestic issue. And as a country, we know that if we begin to focus on the problems, we might not find a solution.
No wonder President Bola Tinubu made Daniel Bwala his special advisor. And as you all may know, that all position comes with a shrink, and that of Daniel Bwala also comes with that shrink. And that's why he was able in good in what he's doing, because we all remember that before President Bola and when Daniel Bwala was the boy to former president of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, you see that how loyal he was, and they're speaking and advocating good about Atiku Abubakar. Now he's now the special advisor to President Bola Tinubu. You can all see his mouth. He's now talking well, now trying to preach good about Nigeria and everything that has been going on. But this is what the US have to say. At the end of the day, the US have to do what they have to do. To me, I know that it's not all about all this he's saying, because they have already paid him for what he's saying, and everything that he's been doing today, he has already been paid for. So in the other instance, it means that he's doing his job, and nobody is going to hold him or hostile him for doing his job that he's being paid for by his master. But in all ramification or all he said, there's also an atom of truth in everything. But we don't have to look into that. Let's concentrate on the board of contention where they declared the genocide of the Nigerian citizen and the persecution of the Christian kingdom in the country, and their panic over the separation of the entity called Biafra. Please do wait to share your own opinion in the comment section, and don't forget to share this video to your friends and loved ones. And if this is your first time coming across our channel, please click on the subscribe button. Thank you and God bless.